Coming up on Confidential, lifting the covers on Torrie's Playboy shoot.
You have never seen me like this before. This is probably the sexiest I've ever looked.
And he's back. Arnold weighs in on the match 20 years in the making.
Vince McMahon created Hulkamania, so I hope that the Hulk doesn't take credit for that.
Hi everyone, I'm Gene Okerlund, and this is WWE Confidential. Well folks, this is it. WrestleMania 19 is tomorrow night, and I for one feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. Nearly 60,000 fans will pack Safeco Field in Seattle to bear witness to the most star-studded lineup in sports entertainment history. From The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin to Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, and of course, the match that has been 20 years in the making. The most recognizable superstar of all time, Hulk Hogan, taking on a man who at one time or another has been his friend, his enemy, his rival, and his boss, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. No question, it'll be one for the ages. We'll have a lot more on WrestleMania as this night progresses. But first up tonight, the man beside the man, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. He ran the show for the Hulkster for several years. With his outrageous ring attire and constant chatter, Jimmy Hart became one of the most effective managers in history. So just how did a squeaky-voiced, megaphone-wielding 160-pounder become one of the greatest managers this business has ever seen? That's a very good question with an even better answer.
Let me tell you something. We've got a big surprise for you. Mouth of the South continues to talk away.
Jimmy Hart, he's a smart manager.
Well, I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, and my mother and myself moved to Memphis, Tennessee. Things were kind of tough. We didn't have a lot of money. I remember my mother and I lived in a little efficiency apartment. She had to cook our food on a little hot grill type thing. That's where I learned to eat beans and potatoes, because that's about all we could afford back then. I was really kind of shy and laid back. I always wanted to be a Greyhound bus driver for some reason. I'd get on my little bicycle and ride around the block and stop at different people's porches and take up tickets and get back on like I was a Greyhound bus driver. My uncle in Jackson, Mississippi, every summer he would come pick me up from Jackson and take me back down when I was like 9, 10, or 11, or 12. And every Wednesday night down there, he'd always get tickets to go to professional wrestling. I just fell in love with it back then. Every time I had a chance to go to a wrestling match, I went. In high school, I used to sell Coca-Colas at the wrestling matches. Number one, it got me in. I made a little money from selling the drinks, and I'd always hustle the drinks really, really hard so I could always watch the main event. I told myself, I said, one day, I'm not going to be at ringside. I'm going to be in the ring. I keep on dancing, Daddy's gonna cut the check right now. Well, we were in high school, and a guy named Larry Raspberry came to me and said, Jimmy, I know you're in the chorus class, and we know you sing. He said, we're putting a group together. I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. So that's when we really kind of Keep on Dancing back then, and all of a sudden we had a $1 million record when we were in high school. They would send us out on weekends to tour with different groups to promote the album. I remember the first trip we took Friday after school, MGM Records, they flew us to Houston, Texas, and on the show was Sonny and Cher, the Beach Boys, and then the main event was Chuck Berry. And we were just so thrilled. Here we were, a little group from Memphis that knew 4 or 5 songs, and all of a sudden we had a record on the charts, and to appear with the Beach Boys and Chuck Berry, it was just mind-boggling. We traveled on the road for a couple of years, and then our original group, the Gentrys, decided to break up. I had a phone call from Jerry the King Lawler, who went to Treadwell High School with me. While I was traveling on the road doing my music, he was doing professional wrestling in Memphis. He wanted to know if I would sing backup on a new song that he was going to cut. And of course, loving professional wrestling and music, I said, feet don't fail me now, so I jumped at the chance to do this. So he said, you know, how would you like to do some promotion for us? And so I started doing ring announcing for them locally and still doing my band on weekends. And one thing led to another. Jerry asked me, would I like to leave the band and start managing him? And about 6 months after I was managing, he broke his leg playing football. For almost a year, with Lawler out with a broken leg, I started managing all the heels. Week after week, when Lawler came back, we brought all these heels in to fight Jerry Lawler. That's when I met Hulk Hogan for the first time. He came in, Terry Funk and Dory Funk, and Jack and Jerry Briscoe, and the list just went on, King Kong Bundy. But it was just a great thrill for me, and of course, a lot of great memories down there. You know, I managed Andy Kaufman down there for almost a year and a half. I was there for 5 years altogether, and then one day, there was a guy named Hillbilly Jim that had worked for us under the name of Harley Davidson before he went to New York and became Hillbilly Jim. So he had called me that week, and he said, Jimmy, you know, Vince McMahon and these guys have been trying to get a hold of you. Why don't you call them back? And I went, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a reel. He goes, no, it's really the truth. He said, a guy named Howard Finkel saw your wrestling tapes from Memphis and they'd like to bring you up. And I went, oh my gosh, I was a nervous wreck because back then, all the territories around the country, nobody wanted to have anything to do with Vince or the company at that particular time. I mean, that was just a no-no. You never brought that name up because they were taking all the stars out of each local area. He said, Vince McMahon's going to call you in 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, I was a nervous wreck. My palms started sweating. I mean, my hair just bouffant up overnight. Vince called and I played like I knew what I was talking about. Yes, sir. He said, Jimmy, we saw your tapes. We'd like to have you up here. Are you interested? And I went, yes, sir. And I'll never forget, we sit down face to face. But he said, Jimmy, what can you do? And I could say anything. I said, I love to manage, I can write music, because I'd set the ring up at that particular time, I didn't care. That's really how I went from Memphis to professional wrestling.
Up next, Playboy isn't just for boys. Just ask Torrie Wilson.
I've read it for I don't know how long. I actually love looking at the pictures and reading the articles, which most men can't say.
Welcome back to Confidential. This portion of the program is brought to you by Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22, now available on the PlayStation game console. Rated teen. By A Man Apart, starring Vin Diesel and Lorenz Tate, in theaters April 4th. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner, now available in Stacker 2 Ephedra Free and Stacker 2 Lite.
You know, research is an essential part of the job here at WWE Confidential. Being a longtime broadcast journalist, I like to be hands-on when it comes to certain stories. Kind of roll up the old sleeves and jump right in, checking and rechecking all the facts. Well, I'm pleased to announce that after several hours of exhaustive research, the May edition of Playboy magazine featuring Torrie Wilson on the cover is a keeper.
Hey guys, this is Torrie. I'm out here in LA and welcome to my Playboy photo shoot.
I've always, you know, dreamed about being in Playboy, so this is really an exciting experience for me. Hey guys, don't worry, I'll let you in. Come on. You know, when you go to the fair and you see the fake covers where you put your face, like that's what I think of my Playboy magazine. It's hard for me to believe that's me. Feel me when my ass is shaking. I know I got your heart palpitating. I'm gonna make your world start quaking. Baby, it's your love I'm taking. I really don't feel like I'm some big glamour queen or anything, but I can get dressed up and hang with the best of them, you know? I buy Playboy all the time, and I've read it for I don't know how long. I actually love looking at the pictures and reading the articles, which most men can't say.
I'm incredibly proud and excited for Torrie Wilson to be on the cover and gracing the inside pages of Playboy magazine. I think that Torrie Wilson has the best body I have ever seen in my entire life. You have to look at the inside pages to see what I'm talking about.
I'm very happy with the way all my pictures turned out. I can't wait to meet Hugh Hefner.
Very striking in person, and the pictorial is spectacular.
Everybody from home has really, really supported me through everything that I've gone through. I went from fitness modeling to the WWE to now in the pages of Playboy, and they've always supported me, so I'm sure it's going to be a great positive reaction. My mother's a little conservative, so, you know, I'm not quite sure if she's actually going to look at the inside or not yet, maybe just the cover. My younger brother was really, really upset just because he doesn't want his friends looking at me nude. He actually thinks that he has to move out of Boise, Idaho now because he's afraid he's gonna get teased. You don't want to give away too much, you know, you gotta be real careful how you pose.
Good, face a little bit to your right, great, love that. Head down a little bit. Head down, angry, yeah, real strong, yep.
I've never worked with someone that is such a perfectionist, and it's really interesting for me because I actually am learning a lot. I've never had someone really tell me how I look the best, you know, with my face turned and everything. And so as far as facials and all that, I've really learned a lot.
Torrie's been fantastic, way beyond my expectations. She's sexy, she's beautiful, and just when the camera starts flashing, she really comes alive. Yeah, that's cute, very nice, yeah.
I'm trying not to appear like I'm trying too hard. That's a tough line to cross, you know.
I kind of give her an idea of what we're going for. If it's an energy shot, you know, she'll come alive. If it's a sexier shot, she tones it down. So I don't need to tell her exactly what to do or where to place her hands in her body. She kind of works into it herself. Very nice, very nice.
Definitely pressure's on for me. I'm really nervous about this issue not bombing, you know, which I'm sure it won't, but still, you know, there are high expectations following Save One China. They're both very beautiful and they both sold a lot of magazines. I just don't want to let Vince down, you know. I don't want him to say, man, I wish I would have used that other girl. She would have sold way more magazines.
I bet my hat on that she's going to sell this issue out. I mean, I think she's that strong.
It almost doesn't feel real to me. Maybe when the magazine comes out, it'll feel real. I'll be looking at the magazine going, wait a second. Oh my God, I'm in Playboy. It's like a reality check.
I think she will do very, very well. Yeah. Spectacular.
You have never seen me like this before. This is probably the sexiest I've ever looked.
When we return, Hulk returns to the grand stage one more time.
Hulk and WrestleMania are sort of hand in glove. You know, you can't really have one without the other.
WrestleMania is the biggest event in the world. There's nothing when it comes to wrestling and entertainment that is bigger than WrestleMania. Vince McMahon created something that is pure entertainment and athleticism, acrobatics, strength, endurance, all of those kind of things combined. It's exciting, I love to watch it, and everyone else likes to watch it. Without any doubt, it was Vince McMahon that has created the Hulkamania. So I hope that the Hulk doesn't take credit for that. I know the question always arises, who is going to win this huge battle between Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon? This incredible match has been in the making for the last 20 years. In my opinion, even though I love Vince McMahon, I think Hulk Hogan is going to win that one. I've seen him just recently. He's in tremendous shape. His arms are huge. Undoubtedly, this is going to be the hugest event. I believe that Hulk Hogan is going to win. I cannot wait to see this match.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, Bob Costas, Bobby Heenan, Roddy Piper. It seems like everyone has something to say about the Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon confrontation. Say what you will, no matter what happens tomorrow night, after 19 years, the one superstar that is still synonymous with WrestleMania is Hulk Hogan. If Mr. McMahon has his way, then Hulk's WrestleMania memories and his career will end in less than 24 hours. Whether or not tomorrow night is Hulk's last waltz, his WrestleMania legacy will live forever.
We've been building this Hulkamania thing
one day at a time. And now that we got so many believers, so many new generations to follow, it's gonna live forever.
I think that Hulk is synonymous with WrestleMania. I mean, I'd be remiss if I told it any other way.
Hulk and WrestleMania are sort of hand in glove. You know, you can't really have one without the other.
WrestleMania 2, Hulkamania running wild around the world.
Hulk's demeanor and Hulk's way to explain himself and express himself was right there at what this country and what the world needed at that time, and I think it was a breath of fresh air, and I think Hulk Hogan was the right selection to carry the banner.
It's mayhem here in the City of Angels. I've never heard an ovation like this for anything in my life. Hulkster looking to be in the best condition of his entire life. Our national hero, the nation, looking to him.
He's the greatest, isn't he? Nobody like him.
He has more or less been the one who has set the standard for what a main event of WrestleMania is supposed to be. You look at the first 7, 8 WrestleManias, and they were mainly built around Hulk Hogan. And when an event like WrestleMania is built around someone like you know, which is a Hulk Hogan, then that definitely means you're special and you're the pioneering force of that event.
Here's the immortal Hulk Hogan, and he has got him pumped up here. These fans sing yellow and red. Indeed, I've never, ever experienced anything in my life as we are experiencing right here.
Hulk Hogan has been the flagship guy, you know, for WrestleMania for a long time. I think Hulk will always be, you know, part of the atmosphere. He'll be recognized. When you think about WrestleMania, you'll think about Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. I mean, he was that big a player. You can never take that away from him. I mean, to this day, the arenas are just, they blow the doors off because the guy was a huge, and still is a huge, huge star and commodity.
Let's hear it over here. There you go. This crowd showing respect to Hogan.
The Hulkster has just taken one giant step towards immortality. I do believe Hulkamania will live forever. It absolutely will.
Up next, Jimmy Hart manages to take on just about everyone.
I'd always have the fans that still wanted to come out of the audience and kick Jimmy Hart's butt because, like I said, I weighed 160 pounds, and the women thought they could beat me up.
Here to debut their new song, Hooka, 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 Hooky Love, Rhythm, and Blues.
Jerry Briscoe was looking for a pink Cadillac to take up to WrestleMania. And they found out that I had it. And I thought about, wow, maybe this will be my in. And I said, can I drive the car? And Jerry was like, sure. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Gorilla, now tell me, what would you pay to get a pink Cadillac like that?
The car got the gig. I never even got paid. I didn't even charge him for the car because I just wanted to be a part of this whole thing. If I never got a chance to get there, at least I was there for a few minutes. To have gone back 12 years later.
Yo, it's me. It's me. It's
WrestleMania 18.
Being in a match with a guy like Christian, who I thought we had definitely one of the best matches on the card. People were highly entertained and they didn't see it coming, and man, we rocked them.
Page, the diamond cutter. And DDP wins it.
To have gone back there and done that, I have fulfilled a lot of dreams.
And now, the WWE WrestleMania moment is brought to you by Snickers Cruncher. Looking for a satisfying crunch? Grab a Snickers Cruncher.
Uh-oh, got it right in the corner. Oh, look at that. Look at Hart. Give me a break. That's got to be a disqualification. He's holding on the ropes. 3, he got it. He got it. The Honky Tonk wins it. Running for his life, the Honky Tonk man. Jimmy's got to figure out a way to get out of there, I think. And Alice Cooper's inside. Whoa, what a... Oh, look at this. Caught from behind. Jimmy Hart would have taken him. Look at that. 15 to 18 foot of python. And the mouth of the South about to be the recipient. Jimmy Hart is liable to have cardiac arrest. Yes. He might. Hart's down. Escape. No. Damian got him. And there's Honky back to get him. Look at him, running for their lives.
As we saw earlier tonight, Jimmy Hart's passion for the business is what launched his career. Even though Hulk Hogan was the biggest superstar he ever managed, he also guided some other greats, including the Honky Tonk Man, Greg the Hammer Valentine, the Nasty Boys, King Kong Bundy. He even managed the late Andy Kaufman. Make no mistake about it, the Mouth of the South changed the role of wrestling managers forever. They were once glorified ring attendants, but thanks to the likes of Jimmy Hart, they became heat-seeking targets in the middle of the action.
When I first went up there, the managers were like Fred Blassie, Mr. Fuji. They had a lot of great managers that were up there. But a lot of managers at that particular time would just go to the ring and they would just take the jackets and then go back. So I remember my first experiences up there, I wanted to stay at ringside, and I remember Mr. Fuji and Fred Blassie got me in the back and said, Jimmy, you know what, we make just as much money going to the ring, taking the jackets back, then we can go ahead and beat the crowd home. I said, but that's okay if you want to do that, but I want to stay at ringside. I want to be with my guys. You know, I just want to be part of this. And that was kind of the philosophy that I brought up to the WWE when I came up there. I always tried to be there for my men. The emphasis needs to be on the talent and not on the manager. You know, I never tried to out-talk anybody. I was always there for moral support for them. I always felt like a manager's job was being at ringside with them, not trying to take away the attention from them, but being there for them if they needed me. Oh, I loved antagonizing the crowd. What happened is Vince McMahon came back from Japan and brought this megaphone to me to say, Jimmy, from now on, you're going to start carrying this megaphone to the ring. It was probably one of the best things that anybody could ever happen to me, because I think the megaphone was over more than Jimmy Hart. Matter of fact, when I go out and do personal appearances now, all over the country, people go, where's the megaphone? Let me see the megaphone. You know, I used to put those batteries in there and antagonize the people so much, and they would just, you know, I want to take that megaphone and shove it up your, you know. It was so easy to make fun of people, make fun of the guys' wives or girlfriends. It was kind of like being at a carnival. You know, when you walk down the midway of a carnival, how the guys try to get you to throw balls at the guy in the dunk tank. You know what I mean? And that was some of the stuff that we did back then. It was pretty crazy. You know, stuff like, you know, your girlfriend's so ugly, she has to sneak up on a mirror to put her makeup on, you know, so that would get them up. The only thing holding you up is your varicose veins, you know, things like that. So, and they just went on and went on. I think everybody in the audience could beat me up. I mean, the 5-year-old kids could probably beat me up. So I think that gave me a lot of longevity up there, because no matter who I managed, I'd always have the fans that still wanted to come out of the audience and kick Jimmy Hart's butt, because like I said, I weighed 160 pounds and the women thought they could beat me up. I think that gave me a little edge on the other managers. My goal was being very visual. I loved wearing all different outfits, being very colorful. My favorite part was managing. I mean, I loved going out in front of the camera. I just loved that. I didn't care. You know, I guess a lot of people don't want to get beat and don't want to be humiliated, but man, when they stripped me off and I was running around the ring with my underwear, that was fun. When they painted me red and yellow, that was great.
Guess it's not bad enough that he's going to beat the life out of Jimmy Hart. Now he's going to spray paint him.
When they tarred and feathered me, fantastic, because I learned one thing about being in wrestling. Do anything that you could do to stand out.
He's going to brand him. Until they're going after Jimmy Hart. That's horrible. Don't you think you'll be sorry? Oh, my goodness. Oh, no, he's cutting Jimmy's hair.
Half the people couldn't tell you what happened on the matches or who won. They remember the things that stand out the most. So I realized in my life, if somebody don't want to be tarred and feathered or beat up or water thrown on them or prank played on them, I'll be the one to do it, because I know that's what's going to make people remember Jimmy Hart.
Here is the manager, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
You know, I've managed so many people in the WWE.
Managed by the Mouth of the South.
Of course, I had King Kong Bundy.
The Hammer Valentine.
Hulk Hogan, Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
The Hart Foundation.
confrontation.
The Nasty Boys.
The adorable one, Adrian Adonis.
Jock is the Mountie.
The Funk Brothers.
I had the wrestling referee, Danny Davis. Typhoon is a natural disaster. Gosh, it's just been so many of them. The list just goes on and on and on. Vince McMahon really gave me a chance to be in New York. And if it wasn't for him at that particular time, Jimmy Hart wouldn't be sitting here now. I wouldn't have the things that I've had. I wouldn't be able to walk down memory lane with you with the gold albums and all the colorful jackets and all the things that I've accomplished and been with some of the biggest names ever in professional wrestling. I'm just proud of just being me. You know what I mean? I hope I've never offended anyone that I've worked for. I hope people aren't disappointed in me. I hope the fans that came to see Jimmy Hart got their money's worth, you know. It was a great run up there. I had a wonderful time entertaining the people. I had fun doing that. And I never missed any house shows, no matter if I had a broken jaw, a broken hand, everything. But even in the Memphis early days, you know, we just kind of wired up and keep right on going. You know, I'd love to have one more run up in WWE. I think there's a lot that maybe Jimmy Hart could maybe bring to the table again. Jimmy Johnson does the music, he does a great job, but I think I might could go out there and have one more bout against Paul Lee or Brother Love or whoever wants to step in the ring and maybe take some of the younger talent and mix a little old school with new school and go out and do some of these personal appearances with them and tell them some stories about what happened in the past. You got to always remember one thing, you know, this doesn't last forever. And one day you might be on the outside looking in, wishing that you could have one more chance. You know, never look a gift horse in the mouth. And I've always kind of had one motto, and it's always been, did I really get paid for doing this?
When we return, a truly confidential question.
Oh man, the strangest place that I've ever had sex would have to be...
Snickers Cruncher presents WWE WrestleMania 19. Coming to you live tomorrow night from Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington. And will be available exclusively on pay-per-view. Looking for a satisfying crunch? Grab a Snickers Cruncher. And you're listening to the theme song for WrestleMania 19 by Limp Bizkit, who will be performing live at WrestleMania 19. The WWE is proud to announce that the Grammy Award-winning Ashanti will sing America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 19 tomorrow night.
Time to show WrestleMania some T and J. WrestleMania has always been about achieving moments within your career.
The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels.
Stone Cold's 8-year journey has been culminated. The Austin era has begun. China is the women's champion. She did it at WrestleMania. Oh, what? Trish just slapped Mr. McMahon. Trish has taken over on Daddy's little girl after slapping the hell out of Daddy.
Biggest WrestleMania moment for me was WrestleMania 18 at the Sky Dome in Toronto. 68,000 fans in my hometown.
From Toronto, Canada, Trish Stratus.
And to come out there and just be greeted by a hometown response and a hometown passionate, warm feeling, it was just amazing.
That's the prettiest little maple leaf I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't take the title that evening, but I mean, that wasn't what it was about for me. My moment for me was walking out on that stage and just feeling the crowd. There's so much tradition and there's so much history. I'm thrilled that I'm part of it all. I can't believe I'm part of WrestleMania history.
I'm thinking Trish Stratus will be making WrestleMania history once again in the triple threat match for the women's title tomorrow night. Speaking of memorable moments, perhaps the most well-known question ever asked on a TV game show was, where was the strangest place you ever made whoopee? The answer has had people laughing and blushing from coast to coast for over 30 years. Sometimes it's tough to beat the classics. Tonight, in honor of Torrie Wilson's gracing the cover of Playboy, we thought we'd pose a sexy question to our male superstars. Courtesy of my very dear close personal longtime friend Bob Eubanks and the Newlywed Game, gentlemen, Where is the strangest place you ever, well, you know.
Oh man, the strangest place that I've ever had sex.
Golly.
You serious?
You have to give me a minute because I've had a lot of sex.
Strangest place I've ever had sex? I'm not going to want to answer that.
Oh, Mom and Dad are watching the show. I'm not answering that question.
I don't know. Why you got to ask me that?
Sex? I've never had sex.
Tell the censors to get ready.
One time I made love on a rug.
This is not going to be pretty.
Of course, it was at the carpet department in Sears.
There's been so many places. I don't know.
A tree? Like a big old limb, like in a tree.
Hey! What the heck? You didn't have to go that far.
Let me not get myself in trouble here.
Ocean City, Maryland, in the middle of the ocean.
Broad daylight.
Oh my gosh. Set your VCRs. Call your neighbors.
In the train station.
He's going to get one, JR.
With my wife, of course. Of course.
Do I have to answer that question? I don't know.
When you go to Harvard, one of the things you have to do before you graduate is have sex in Widener Library.
I'll tell you, something's brewing here, and it don't smell good.
I did, luckily, before I graduated, have sex there. Thank you.
Okay, you know what? This interview's we're done.
I don't think there is a strange place to have sex. I think if you're having sex, you need to just count your blessings that you're having it.
Up next, The Undertaker's phenomenal WrestleMania career.
To be undefeated is not the most important thing, because as soon as you start making that the focus, you're going to get off your game, and sure enough, you'll get beat.
He's Eddie. He's Chavo. De los Guerreros. Viva la raza. They lie, cheat, and steal.
Hey, Holmes. Looks like you guys need some golfing partners.
Simones, I was watching your swing. I think your foreswing is causing a slice in your hook. It's just like...
Okay, guys. The joke's over. The kitchen's back at the lodge. We'll see you there at the next turn.
Yes, I believe I'll be having the pate fajitas this afternoon.
Oh, pate fajitas,
yeah,
he will
pate
be.
fajitas. No, I believe you're gonna be having my fist down your throat.
Yes, a 3-iron isn't only good for hitting golf balls, you know. Today, we're gonna be your partners, whether you like it or not.
Simon!
You know, guys, I was just commenting to Warner here that a foursome is just what we need.
A foursome? Oh, man. You guys are sick. We're here to play golf.
Yeah. Why don't you perverts just keep that to yourself, okay? Hey, what do you say to a little wager here? Winner takes all. You guys got yourself a deal. Take your best shot.
That's it. I will, man. Step back, Holmes. Has a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give me 2. 4!
That's what I told you, Holmes, huh? Come on now, pay up.
Órale, mochate.
Yeah, thank you. Come on, keep it coming. We said winner takes all.
Simones.
Come on, that's
the
not
watch.
all. Yeah?
The
What else you got?
keys.
Come on, all.
Give me that. Órale, say. We got...
Yeah, thank you.
5 minutes until next tea time.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Viva la raza!
The first person that comes to my mind when I think about elevating the career at the grand stage of WrestleMania would be Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he wrestled Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13.
And there he is. Whoa! Whoa! Nothing fancy about this man. You talk about in your face. That is who Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Going into that match, everyone loved Bret Hart, everyone hated Steve Austin. 20 minutes later, within, like I said, the span of about 20 or 30 seconds, boom, everyone loved Steve Austin, everybody hated Bret Hart.
Austin with that chair! Yes! It's WrestleMania, baby!
crowd wanted to see it, but they didn't realize that they wanted to see it until that 30-second period.
Steve Austin is one top SOB, and he is all mine. He is kicking a mud hole in Bret Hart.
Steve just went from being, right underneath the cusp of a top talent main event person to becoming a main event person.
These people are standing. Can you imagine the pain rushing through Austin's body? Austin will not surrender. He will not submit.
From there, he went on, and the legend of Stone Cold goes on from there. And that's really, I think, that was his launching pad.
I don't know if I've ever seen an athlete in my whole career as tough as Steve Austin. That was absolutely amazing. Have you ever witnessed anything like that in your life? Did you expect anything less out of Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania?
Now that's what WrestleMania is all about. The greatest superstars in the game giving their all at the biggest event of the year. Say what you will about Stone Cold Steve Austin, he never backs down from a challenge, especially at WrestleMania. The Scorpion King better bring his A game tomorrow night. Since 1985, WrestleMania has been the ultimate showcase for anyone trying to make a mark in this industry. Sometimes being a part of WrestleMania lore is being in the spotlight for a single moment in time. Sometimes it's the culmination of a lifetime of achievement. But one superstar in particular has made WrestleMania his own personal yard for 10 years running.
Wow, you mentioned three guys, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Hulk Hogan. You define WrestleMania by those guys. But there's one guy that lurks in the background all the time at WWE, and that's The Undertaker.
Undertaker, I believe, is the only WWE superstar that has an undefeated record at WrestleMania. And Undertaker has always had a prominent role in WrestleManias. So the fact that at WrestleMania he has been so dominant, I think without a doubt makes Undertaker one of the special superstars that you have to put in that same class.
Undertaker causing a lot of sleepless nights for a whole lot of folks here in the World Wrestling Federation.
WrestleMania 7, wrestling, The Undertaker was such a big man, and impressive looking guy. He was meant to be in the wrestling circle.
Services for Mr. Snuka. How on earth are you gonna stop this guy?
The fact that A, he's been in 10 WrestleManias, which probably has to be some kind of a record. I don't know if anybody else has been in that many. And B, the fact he's never lost. I mean, that pretty much shows he's one of the most dominant and popular and most intriguing superstars in the history of this company.
It's been a long, hard road to get this opportunity to be the champion. He did it!
He's been just a huge player, and his win record there is phenomenal. I mean, he's been a huge part of the success of this company, and I guess that's just due to the fact that his character has been so strong and so impressive and so awesome all these years.
It's hard to go 10-0 on any kind of event. Considering you're going 10-0 at WrestleMania, the showcase of the Immortals, every year the biggest event, it's impressive. And it just goes to show you how big of a star Taker is and how much influence and how much importance he has with the WWE.
I'm very fortunate to be undefeated at WrestleMania, but to be undefeated is not the most important thing, because as soon as you start making that the focus, you're going to get off your game, and sure enough, you'll get beat. So let's just go out there and work hard and perform for the people and give them the best that I got. That's what's important.
Can Taker make it 11 straight? We'll find out tomorrow night at WrestleMania 19. Remember, folks, WrestleMania is 4 hours this year, and it all gets started with Sunday Night Heat at 7 p.m. Again, nearly 60,000 will be in attendance tomorrow night, but if you can't be there at Safeco Field, remember, the only way, of course, you can see it is on pay-per-view. That's all for this week. We'll be back right here next week with a special behind-the-scenes look at WrestleMania 19. Good night, everybody.